call the roll, please.
Herman.
Here.
Mattsdorf.
Here.
Binder.
Here.
Penquitz.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Tauschak.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is a pledge. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Penquitz.
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Tauschak.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Binder.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is the audience portion where we ask people to sign in and be recognized by the chair. My apology for being a little slow in getting started. We had to clarify a legal point in our proceedings this evening. The first person that signed up is Tyler Rezchek.
Right here, sir.
You can stand and talk there or come up, whatever you're comfortable with. Thank you.
I was informed yesterday by a business associate that my vocal advocacy against this library expansion was angering local business leaders and hurting my future business prospects within the city. If any of these so-called leaders are present tonight, please know that I received your message and still stand here representing a coalition of Plymouth business owners opposed to this expansion, but far too scared of negative reprisals to speak up. $14 million for a library in a town of 9,000 people is insanity. Let's talk about an important fact that's often glossed over about how we got here. The library board and the city of Plymouth have neglected the current library since the 1980s, choosing to do only minimal maintenance and basic cosmetic repairs. Now, because of mismanagement and willful neglect, the taxpayers are supposed to fund a massive expansion of the current building. I have a few questions on this proposal. Why do we need to expand? Why not improve? What stops the same maintenance mismanagement from happening to the expanded building? Why are we not just making required fixes to the building for $3 million, using the other $1 million from the grant to expand programming instead of spending another $11? Would this insane proposal still have surfaced if the $4 million grant from the state didn't exist? I'd like to remind everyone in the room that just last year, the library board was considering replacing the grass around the library with clover so they could save on maintenance costs. We didn't have it in the budget to spend $22,000 doing that, but now they want to build a $14 million building and suddenly we're going to be able to maintain it to the degree it will require. It's difficult to understand how we've gotten from $3 million repairs to a moonshot boondoggle project costing $14 million that removes parking spaces from businesses and saddles the taxpayer for 20 years of debt, most likely without a vote. Plymouth does not have the money to do this project, so either taxes are going up or we're going to borrow at historic interest rates and service that debt. In a town with 0.27% population growth year over year, either of those is a death sentence to continued economic growth. If the viability of this project relies solely on getting a large state grant, which is also our money, it is already starting off on a poor footing with no room for cost overruns. I'd like to end with a simple statement. Do the right thing, the American thing, and allow everyone the opportunity to vote on this entire proposal in spring on a referendum. Thank you.
Thank you. Second person that signed up, apologize if I don't say it correctly, Sandra Meyer? Hire?
Yes,
Thank you. Sorry about that.
that's okay. Sometimes my penmanship isn't what it should be. I just have a couple quick comments. Thank you for hearing comments from the public. First of all, I have some troubles. This is the most information I received about this. I first heard about this project a week ago. I wish there was more publicity about it from the start, and maybe every other week have an updated meeting so that way the community could be better informed on what's going on and how you're going about it. And better support or decline your decisions to help make the right decision for our community. First of all, I have a problem with the elevator being called Beyond its life expectancy, there are other elevators within the Sheboygan County that are much older that function perfectly because of routine maintenance and regular upgrades. I'm just, words escape me as to hearing that yet another building in this community has been neglected. And I want to know, like the prior speaker, if we make these upgrades, which some of them must be, like the ADA and the elevator, what are we going to do to prevent this from happening again? And why have we not kept up with it? Was it a funding problem? Was it a personnel problem? I don't know. I'm wondering if we looked at the option of reorganizing the space. There are fewer bookshelves there than there were in 1987, thanks to digital technology being accessible and also the Monarch Library system. I'm wondering if we have the space that some of the space we need without needing to expand as much as we are proposing tonight. Again, I just want to reiterate, more publicity, please. I don't know how you publicized this to begin with. I'd like to know how you chose the 60 people to go through this process. Not that I'm advocating myself should have been on that, but maybe some other people in the community would have liked to have been that were not chosen. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that signed up, I know this isn't your official name, Plymouth Citizen 2. So if you want to speak and identify yourself, fine. If not, you can speak anyway.
My name is Christine White. I've lived here for 20 years. I am a transplant, and today I find it very concerning that so few citizens know of this project to this day. How I found out, I was going through the extra newspaper and I saw a meeting for the library, but it was for a meeting that occurred in May. So I was being invited to a meeting that already passed. The library committee is touting that they got over 600 surveys out of the Plymouth population of 9,000, but only this represents 6.5% of the community. Going forth with a project of this dollar amount, focusing more on the $10 million that will most likely be for our Plymouth taxpayers, is a lot to go with only getting 6.5% of community feedback, and is very irresponsible. A project of this dollar value and impact to the citizens around the site should require a referendum being present on the ballot this upcoming election. Perhaps this is being driven through so quickly to be able to apply for this $4 million grant before the deadline, which is only in a few weeks. But this should not be forced through in haste. The community needs to be informed of what is desired for the library. When I went to the library yesterday and went through the meeting, I was appalled at what the things that they wanted to add to the library if it were to go to a new site. Like a team meeting space, one like the Plymouth Youth Center, a gourmet kitchen and classroom to hold cooking classes, like the facility we have at the Plymouth High School and open to the community rec. And we also wanted more meeting space and gathering space, and that exists at the Generation Center, or a school facility scheduler at the public schools, or a creative area that we already have at the Plymouth Art Center. Probably up on my time, but in my closing, so instead of spending millions for this small community, be financially responsible, leverage the site of this historic library, tackle the maintenance that has been deferred over the past few decades, improve signage, perform the ADA, and do modest updating. After all, it was already approved for $10,000 for the HVAC to be upgraded last month for the current library. And as for communication, I would really appreciate, as a taxpayer and a citizen of this community, to improve the marketing of the current library, flyers at local businesses, a booth at Plymouth events, posting to My Plymouth that has 22,000 followers as opposed to the library, which only has 2,000. Become more active in posting on the Plymouth Library site. Make more visits to schools. Collaborate with other gems in the community. And the last I ask is, with this project it being $14 million or more, we need this to be a vote for our entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person that signed up is Britt Mueller.
Hi, good evening. My name is Britt Miller. I've been a member of the Plymouth community since I was 3 and a library card holder for just as long. I first learned about the meetings that took place in April and May in January from a sign that was up at the library. I participated in all the meetings that were there. They were free and open to the public. There was no selection committee about who could and could not attend. In fact, I noticed that at the different meetings, there was an influx. One of the things I did notice was that many of the school librarians were represented, as well as past and former employees of the library. And one of the things I noticed that I thought was really wonderful and speaks to the character of Plymouth is how concerned people were that it did serve the needs of the community. The things that were brought up in the meetings very much spoke to a concern for local businesses for wanting to maintain active foot traffic downtown. One of the considerations at the final meeting when we were asked to vote, there was between 2 locations, either maintaining the current location or moving to the Willow Glen option. And one of the hang-ups for a lot of us was that moving away from downtown would take away from local business. If other local businesses feel differently, I think there certainly should be space for them to speak up, for everybody to have their chance to say. But I think a lot of the concerns that have been expressed here tonight were brought up during the meetings that I attended, and certainly more could be published, and we can make sure that more people have the information. But I think the people that attended were very committed to seeing the library move forward and doing the best for the community. And I just wanted to stand up here and represent that. I think a lot of the good citizens of Plymouth have taken the time and expressed that this is something they want for their community, and have brought up both valid concerns and the ways that this could really improve. A library expansion could improve life for people in the community.
Thank you. And the last person that signed up this evening is Neil Wogenberg.
Thank you. Short and sweet, representing Hartman's Bakery and G Scoops Ice Cream, which you have watched closely on some of the slides, was that little box that was across the street from the library. We love the location of it. Just simply asking council to keep in mind, we don't think it's a coincidence that over the last 2 years that the library participation has increased, because you know when we moved in across the street 2 years ago. Just asking for consideration, we don't restrict the parking, and our activities are right in front of the store. There's a lot of things that would, that time even, that would restrict some of our daily operation. Really would like for all businesses involved in the library to grow and improve, but want to be very careful that doesn't affect some of us negatively. Appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I mentioned, we appreciate people coming forward and talking to the council and telling us what's on your mind. That's where you do the talking and we do the listening. Moving on to item 5, no items were removed from the consent agenda. Item 5 is not needed. Moving on to item 6, I declare a public hearing for ordinance number 8, an ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map in the city of Plymouth, Wisconsin comprehensive plan, existing land use map and future land use plan map by changing property from commercial to residential. Tim, I'll ask you to comment on this as the first public speaker, and then we'll open it up for comments from the public if there are any. Tim.
Sure. So item 6A and 7A, I'm going to combine together. And just for the audience, you're obviously more than welcome to stick around and listen and provide comment at public hearing, but you're also welcome to jump out if this is not of interest to you. So Just want to provide that information. So item 6A and item 7A is a request to rezone and comp plan amendment and a CSM for parcel 5927-182-7945. This is located directly west of the Walmart in Plymouth. Vanguard Development Group is requesting a certified survey map, comprehensive plan amendment, and rezoning for a proposed multifamily development project. So a draft site plan is included in the packet, and that's going to be discussed in more detail likely at the July Plan Commission meeting. So the CSM on the table is to split that parcel. It will create a parcel on the southern portion that's approximately 20.1 acres and a smaller parcel to the north that's 4.4 acres. So again, the Plan Commission did recommend this CSM be approved as presented. The comp plan amendment, it proposes a land use map, which is currently commercial and environmental to residential and environmental. The environmental section is just the southeast corner of the project. There's a small creek that runs in that area, and the project really isn't going to be impacting that. But so primarily it's changing it from commercial to a residential comprehensive plan use. So this comp plan is included in ordinance number 8. The rezoning portion, again, is this section that will go from B3, which is highway business. And Vanguard is requesting that the area, as part of the CSM that I described, outlined in orange in your packet, be rezoned to our new R6 high-density multifamily residential. The properties to the north are vacant or multifamily. To the east is the Walmart development. To the south are a variety of businesses along Eastern Avenue. And to the west is properties primarily vacant. There are no directly abutting single-family homes. So given the adjacent property uses, staff does support the request to use the R6 district. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. At June 6, 2024, the Plan Commission did unanimously recommend that the CSM in ordinance number 8 be approved as presented.
Thank you, Tim. As an FYI to our audience, there is no vote this evening on anything concerning the library. So if you're sticking around for something to happen on that later on, that will not happen this evening. So thank you. Thank you, Tim. This is a public hearing, and the chair will now recognize anyone else who wants to make a comment. Tim described it quite well. The Plan Commission has approved this and moved it on to the council for the public hearing portion of the requirement. And anybody else have any comment on that? Sir?
Good evening, Mayor. Park Lake, 1200 North Maple Road, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Vice President of Planning and Pre-Development for Vanguard. I'm here with Dave Rito, Development Manager, Multifamily Development Manager. We're here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, and appreciate you making the trip up to do that. The chair would allow, if there are questions, for you to answer those questions as part of the public hearing process. Did you get their name correctly, Anna?
I have their contact info.
Do you have them?
Yep.
Okay. For the record. Do we have any other comments on the public hearing? I declare the public hearing over. The chair will entertain a motion regarding the ordinance number 8 and ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map in the city of Plymouth, Wisconsin comprehensive plan existing land use map and future land use plan map by changing property from commercial to residential in specific R6. Alderman Nelson.
Mayor, I'll move that we approve ordinance number 8 and associated changes.
I'll second his motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Binder.
Yes.
Penquitz.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 7, new business, approve of CSM, a division of Lot 3 of certified survey map recorded in volume 25, pages 135 through 138, as document number 1941216, being located in part of the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter and a part of the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of section 23, town 15, township 15 north, range 21 east, city of Plymouth, Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. Tim touched base on that. This was also passed and recommended by the Plan Commission. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the CSM as stated. Alderman Tauschek.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve the CSM as presented.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on item A, the CSM, please.
Banquets,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Mattstord. Yes. Herman,
Yeah.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item B, this is a unusual, I guess is maybe to say, we've been asked to accept a grant from Roots for collaborative acquisition of a mobile irrigation system in conjunction with the Rotary Club Foundation. And what's on the table here is they require a vote accepting it as part of the record keeping for their gift. So that's what we're asking to do. Little unusual, but the chair will entertain a motion to accept the grant of $5,000 to be used as indicated.
Also move.
Second.
We have a first and a second to accept the grant as indicated. Any discussion?
Mayor, I would have a question. I'm on that committee for Rotary that approved that grant last week, so I'm not sure. Me voting on that, would that be a conflict of interest?
So in terms of a technical conflict of interest, I don't see that you are receiving anything personally of monetary value. Certainly, if you feel that there is some concern that you're acting with impropriety, you have the ability to abstain. But from my perspective, I don't see that you have a conflict of interest in voting.
Thank you.
John?
Could we have just a little explanation what it's for? Or mobile irrigation system?
It's a water tank, right?
That's what I thought.
They called it, I don't know.
$10 word.
So that's what Roots, yeah, so, the city has been working with Roots back from when it was created in 2018. We've been successful numerous times to partner with, Roots, so that stands for, the restoration of our trees of Sheboygan. So they partner, they're part of like the Plymouth Rotary Club or Sheboygan Rotary Club. It's kind of like the hub. And so we've been successful numerous times. This time it's not for planting of trees. This time it's for an additional water tank, and it'll actually sit in the back of a truck so that it's not a trailer behind, and it'll be better accessibility downtown. But yeah, it's a water tank.
Okay. It's nice to know what you're voting on.
That's what they called it.
Yeah, this isn't trees this time around.
This is equipment.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on to item C, approval of substation agreement amendment related to landscaping at substation number 5 with A&R Pipeline Company. Tim?
Sure, so just a very brief background. Again, the Public Service Commission approved the certificate of authority for the new substation in the town of Mitchell at their meeting on February 1st and issued their final order on February 4th. As part of the conditional use permit approved by the town of Mitchell, Plymouth is required to include screening and vegetation for the substation. The approved landscape plan is attached in your packet, which provides screening on all sides of the substation property and a fence in the front of the property. A&R Pipeline Company has agreed to provide funding for the landscaping in accordance with the parameters of the substation agreement. It wasn't originally included in the agreement, but moving forward, they will be providing 8/11ths of the cost for the initial planning and screening of the project. So happy to answer any questions, but staff does recommend approval of the agreement as presented.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
I'll approve the substation, move to approve the substation agreement amendment related to landscaping at substation number 5 with A&R Pipeline Company.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? As a formal agreement, we'll have a roll call on that, please. Thank you.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschak,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Pankwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. The next portion, we're going to go into closed session. When we come out of closed session, there will be no vote taken, so you can shut down, Gary. At this point, Chair will entertain a motion in closed session.